Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to another exciting episode of Campus Chronicles, podcast by Sukkur IBA University. Podcast where we bring inspiring leaders, innovators, and change makers to the students of Sukkur IBA University. This is your host Sayyid Unan Raza, and today's episode is truly special, and we're honored to have with us a distinguished guest, a visionary entrepreneur, and a respected business leader, and a long-time friend of Sukkur IBA University, respected Sir Hasan Ali Khan. So thank you for joining us today, and it is a privilege to have you here. Our students, faculty, and listeners are eager to learn from you remarkable journey from building iconic brands like Prince and Tuck to forming partnerships with some of the world's largest food companies. So let's begin, sir. So my question number one is that before the companies, before the boardrooms, before Prince Biscuit, before Tuck, before everything, who was young Hasan Ali Khan like? Where did you grow up, and how did your schooling environment shape your personality?
Thank you very much, first of all, for having me on this podcast. But I don't think that I deserve to be on the podcast of such a distinguished university like IBA, which is really, I feel very proud to be part of this university, and really from its inception. I've been here for more than 35 years with IBA, either on the syndicate or on the Senate, and I was very much part of Nisar Siddiqui Saab, Professor Nisar Siddiqui, and I've really been along with him since the inception, with him on this journey, since he took over as the director of this glorious academic university. The other thing I would like to say to you is that I have not prepared in any way for this interview. I never prepared for it, for this interview. And so what I'm going to say to you is going to be whatever I know from memory or whatever I speak from my heart. So it will be something original. I started life as a young child, a very hard life, because I was in boarding schools from the age of 4. So I didn't see my mother nor father because I was in boarding school. But then at the age of 6, 7, in 1953, I was sent to UK, and I went to boarding school there. And I was there till I was 22. I did most of my things, whether it was schooling, primary, secondary, university, everything I did. But it is very important, extremely important, and although I was in boarding all my life, but I'm grateful to my parents that they gave me the opportunity to have an excellent education. Having said that, once you are educated, you are a privileged person, and you can look and hope and dream to be a part of a privileged part of society, which in Pakistan is known as the elite, unfortunately. Starting off in life, one thing one must have. You must have a drive, pushes you forward. You must have a mission. You must have a goal. You must have a vision. And you have to drive yourself forward to achieve that vision that you have and to achieve a goal. And I always did one thing. I set myself targets. You look, the first thing I did was when I set up a flour milling venture in Sukkur. It closed. I went for the best. I imported a plant from Switzerland, Bueller, world number one in making that kind of machinery. And we started making amazing quality. And then subsequently, I wanted to know what else I could do. So what do I do with the, and I wanted to go into agriculture, always. Into agriculture, agricultural products. Therefore, I went for wheat. And wheat is an agricultural product. It was the staple diet of this country. And it was a good thing to go because it was the basic need, basic commodity, basically wanted. But from there I said, now how do I use what I have actually made from that wheat? And that led me to biscuits. Now, you make flour from wheat, you use it as that product. But I didn't want to just set up a biscuit company. I must have something more, and I must have something that will bring a new technology, and it will bring something new to the country, which has never been here before. So I went after multinationals. I had no experience in that field, I had nothing. But as a young man, what I managed to do, I managed to convince a world-renowned multinational to come with me into a joint venture and establish. And that was that group, Denmark, which is a world-renowned for their yogurt, mineral water, they had Avion, and they had dry foods in which they had biscuits, and they had the brand Lu, from which we got Dark Prince, Candy, and the Lu. Subsequently, they decided to sell their interest in dry foods and concentrate on their dairy products. And so they sold to Kraft Foods their interest. I agreed. And from Kraft Foods, I got the product Oreo. So Oreos was an addition to my brand list. But then, subsequently, Kraft Foods bought Cadbury world over. So I have now the Cadbury brand of biscuits, all chocolate biscuits of the Cadbury, and cakes, with cakes also coming in future, and the Cadbury brand, which has become a huge business. So what I did to motivate myself was having world iconic brands. Blue range, Oreo range, Cadbury range. These are all world-renowned brands, which everybody knows. I've created a company like Continental, and even my own, which is run like a pure multinational. We employ the best. We employ people from multinationals. We give employment to a lot of, what is more important is that Sukkur, the plant at Sukkur we have is modern, it is well kept, it is run on international standards, international values, international QC, quality control, it is hygienic, and we employ a lot of people. The plant here gives opportunity to a population which has very little opportunities, very little. So I can say, and even the people working for me, that they say it's a blessing for this plant to be here in Sukkur. In fact, it is the second largest employer in Sukkur after the government of Sindh. Government of Sindh is the largest employer, and we are the second largest employer. Anything else?
And that's very inspiring. So the next question is that every successful person has a moment, a turning point when everything changes. So when you look back today, was there a specific incident, a challenge, or a decision that completely shifted your direction and led you toward entrepreneurship?
I think the decision I took to get a world-renowned multinational, that was a game changer. That was a real game changer. It brought me on the map. It brought me to be well known, and you know, manufacturing, distributing, marketing, well-known brands throughout the world. Well-known brands not only in Pakistan, but brands that are known everywhere in the world. I mean, you know, Cadbury is very well known. You know that Oreos are very well known in the world, it's not just Pakistan. And the Lou brand is also very well known in the world. So I think that decision that no, I will not just go and make a local biscuit, I'm going to make international products, and I'm going to do actually international partnership, which and let them have a huge shareholding, have them on the board of directors, and you know, governed company governance being in a way that everything is upright, everything is straight, and there is no dealings which are not on the books. So we are very straight in that. But I think what has really been a game changer for me is, and when I think about it, and you've asked this question, this is a very important question. I think the game changer is when you change others' games. That is the real game changer. You know, if I look at myself, God has been very good to me, made me into a multi-millionaire, has made given me fortune, and I, you know, educating my children, my grandchildren, you know, I've done very well in life. But being said, somebody made a change in my life. I wasn't like this before. I was a young kid from university, didn't have that much, you know. So somebody, and that's probably him up there, made a change in my life. So when there is a change, one has to recognize that the fortune that is bestowed upon one and the change that has caused it within your life to upgrade you and make you a part of an elite society, then you must make a change in the life of others. And that is very important. You must make a change in the life of others who are less fortunate. And that is why I have put this scholarship program. Because what I want is that, and we give 35 scholarships, they 2 crores, which is about 20 million rupees a year to IBA. 65% we want to go to girls and 35% to boys. So what I was talking about was that when you've been fortunate, there's been a change in your life. One must recognize that. And one must make a change in others' lives. And make a change in those lives of people who are much less fortunate and who have not achieved that and do not have any way that they can fulfill their dream. They also have a right, the poor, they also have a right to hope and a dream. So what, and I'm very proud of the scholarships that we give to it. I'm very proud of it. And I will tell you this, that, you know, what it does is that, you know, you can be the son and the daughter of anybody, from any form, strata of society. You don't have to be, you know, You don't need that scholarship if you come from that fortunate background where you could pay. But those who have no way of paying, those who cannot afford even to pay their hostel fees or their food, are fully paid scholarships look after them. Everything. And it gives them the opportunity to equalize themselves in this society, which is very important. And the only way that they can do it is through higher education. They can go. After receiving higher education, they can go anywhere. They can join a bank, they can join an multinational company, they can do CSS, they can become assistant commissioner. I mean, they become equal to what we say. Instead of standing up all the time and serving, they make themselves in the position of sitting down with us on the same table and being served. So that is one thing that has been very important to me in life, is make a change for others. That is a game changer.
That's quite inspiring for me as well, that I'm sitting here in front of you today. So the next question is that, sir, as we all know that CBL operates both internationally and nationally. So how do you guide and motivate your team so that innovation and excellence remain a core part of CBL?
Okay, number one, you don't get into that decision-making part unless you are highly intelligent and you're well qualified. CBL, from the very inception, has always brought new things to the market, has brought new products. I mean, Duck was totally new, Prince was totally new. Candy is still nobody makes it. There's no competitor but Duck, Duck. So my products have always been innovative. And the challenge is always to bring innovation. The day you stop bringing innovation, you're dead. If you don't innovate, you're dead. We live by innovation. And, we're very fortunate that we have a huge multinational partner, Kraft Mondelez, that allows us and offers us innovation. A lot of innovation we get from them. And a lot of innovation we do on our laboratory in Sukkur here. And we dream of this concept sitting with myself, the marketing team. We always strive to innovate and move forward. We do have an advantage as having a huge multinational partner, obviously. So innovation is the name of the game.
So you have mentioned the names of your brand like Prince, Duck, Candy. As we all know that these became the household names as well. So what was the creative and business thought process behind selecting and building these brands and naming a biscuit Prince, a biscuit Duck, and a biscuit Candy?
Okay. Duck was very innovative. There wasn't a biscuit like all, there was a candy. There was no biscuit like Prince. So that was innovation. And then subsequently we brought in Oreos. There was no biscuit like Oreos. Then we've now just introduced the Cadbury range of biscuits, chocolate coating. But to be very fair and honest to you, that these names, Prince, Duck, these are international names. These are international brands. I can't change those names. Those names are the names of international products, world-renowned. I can't change the name of Oreo. Oreo is the largest selling biscuit in the world. It's Oreo. I can't change the name. I have to have the name Oreo. Otherwise, they will sue me for billions and billions. I can't do that. So that's the name. The names have actually been given, they are international names, world over.
So, as we all know, that finance seems to be one of your strong areas. So, how important is financial planning and management for a growing entrepreneur?
I think it's the most important. You see, you need to understand, if you are starting any business, you must understand finance. You must understand there's what the revenue is, sale, what is the cost of sales, what is your margin, what is your GP, what is your operating profit, what is your net profit. You have to understand this. And then one of the things that you do really need to be on top of is your cash flow. What is coming in and what is going out. In any business, the cash flow is the most important. You know, profit loss, everything else is decoration. But your cash, what money is coming in and what is going out. And that has to balance. Otherwise, you're in deep trouble. Whenever you're going into a business, the first thing that you must understand, you have to manage the cash flow. You must manage the cash flow. That is, I think, paramount to any business. And then to being an entrepreneur, you have to have a vision, you have to have a drive. Vision, drive, and you have to set goals to move forward.
So, you invested heavily in Sukkur, from Hamid Flour Mills to Continental Biscuit Limited, largest plant as well. So, what does this city means to you, Sukkur?
Home. Simple. Simple. Home.
Any memory you can share?
When I first came to Sukkur in 1970, it was very different. There were no hotels, nowhere to stay. The hotel was terrible. There was not even an Interpark. By the way, Interpark at one time was a very good hotel.
Yes.
Interpark was run in the 70s. Interpark was run by IHC Intercontinental Hotels Corporation, the multinational group. It was the Intercontinental change in Pakistan, which then Hashwani bought and made it Pearl Continental. But it was run by Intercontinentals. Very good, very clean, very good food. And then subsequently, the takeover took place. The PIA ran it. That was good also then. And then subsequently, local entrepreneur bought it from Sukkur, and then the rest is history. But when I first came to Sukkur, it was a very different Sukkur. Actually, it was a clean town. It was small. I got to know everybody very well, and but it was a very small place, and the communication was very little. Flight, maybe once in a week, but I used to use Khyber Mail coming and Khyber Mail going. So that is how it was. But it was a very small. But obviously, I've had always a love for this place because I think I've done a lot, and I should have done a lot. For the people of Sukkur. I employ a lot of people. Hell of a lot of people I employ. And I'm very happy to do that, and I support the education. I support education of my people who work for me. Not only IBA scholarships. IBA scholarships is something separate, but I support people for primary education, for secondary education. I value a lot to education. I think my prime focus is towards education. Because as I said to you, it's the only tool a way of equalizing yourself in this society. Otherwise, you'll remain a nobody, you'll be a domestic servant, or you'll be a driver, that's all you'll do. So, you know, I help people to be something. The staff I have working for me, I educate their children because I tell them, I don't want your children to do what you want to do. I want them to be able to sit on the table with us, not standing up and serving. So,
Excellent.
I think for Sukkur, my contribution, whatever I've done, I've really done from my heart. People will judge later whether it was lot or not or what it was. But we employ a lot of people, we educate people, we look after them, we look after people medically. You know.
Indeed, it's true, sir. So my last question from you, that you have mentioned the scholarships program that you offered in Sukkur IBA, and you support the education as well. You have been a close friend and supporter of this university, scholarship, supporting students. From your perspective, what are the most important skills and mindsets for the youth of Pakistan, especially from Sindh, to succeed in today's job market?
Again, the youth in Sindh should go to a university where they gain knowledge. And the degrees that they should obtain can be marketing and sales, can be mathematics, can be science, can be engineering, can be electronic engineering. All skills that can be used to get them into good corporations, but from good university. A university that imparts knowledge, imparts skill, not to any university. I know we don't accept from any university. The other thing that I believe is that, you know, your students in today's world should have command over the English language. That is very important, that they can express themselves in an international language. Unfortunately, Urdu is not an international, no Sindhi is an international language, but English is. So they must have a major command so that they can, you know, present themselves in an interview in multinational corporations and even outside Pakistan. You know, we saw today, as I said, they are the wealth of Pakistan wearing those gowns, and they are the future. We are the past, they are the future.
So thank you so much, Sir Hasan Ali Khan, for sharing your journey, insights and guidance. Your story and your support for Sukkur IBA students through scholarships is truly inspiring for the youth of Pakistan. Thank you so much, sir. And thank you so much, dear audience, for listening us in this episode. And stay tuned for the next episode of Campus Chronicles that is powered by Sukkur IBA University.